So, talking about AI, US accounting platform Pilot has unveiled what it calls the world's first autonomous AI
Ooh.
accountant. Apparently, it runs the system entire bookkeeping life cycle, onboarding, transaction coding, reconciliations, month-end close, financial statements with absolutely no human intervention. I think that's a very, very bold pitch there, isn't it? They're talking about faster closes, lower cost, audit-ready books, always on AI insight. And they've got a decade of Pilot's historical bookkeeping data for more than 7,000 startups. It promises finance that just works. For accountants, it claims to eliminate the grunt work and free them up for advisory. I think a bit of skepticism, a bit of cynicism there. We've just talked about AI bookkeeping platforms, two of which that are struggling or closing. This isn't a new entrant. It is well funded. It has been integrated in the US, but it does feel like they are overreaching here with some of this. I don't know about you guys. Obviously, again, it's a US based platform, which is quite interesting that they're leaning very heavily on AI, whereas I think we're a little bit more, not reticent, but we're a bit more watchful around it, perhaps.
I think it's super
Yeah.
interesting that it's, like you said, it's US based. We are an island. France takes a stance that it says, okay, you can't use Zoom or any US company. You've got to start using our own proprietary technologies to manage the data and keep that value within its country. And I think it's, because it's so US based and the US is really, it's leading the race, I'd say, in AI. So it's no wonder that they're going to really push hard and make big, brash statements. And maybe you're right, okay, like they've launched this now, but I bet in 4 months' time when the models change, there we go again. We've got to scrabble around and fight. So again, it's just, we've got to keep on riding each wave as it comes. Interesting to see this one. Again, Ryan, what do you think? What's your gut telling you about this?
Well, number one positive, they've got 10 years worth of data. We're just talking about the fact that you need the history there, and they can train the model on history. They've got real world examples because they've had a brand and a process and a business for so long that actually it can add weight to the AI engine. Can it do everything they've said it can do from day one? I do not believe that at all. What I would say is maybe it can do a big chunk of it. It can do a big chunk of reconciliation work. It can do a big chunk of like processing. But if it's trying to say it does 100% of it, I think you lose trust. But let's put this in the context. They are being big and brash, and they're US based. Well, they're kind of following the leader to some extent, aren't they, with that? And then countries that aren't in the US are losing trust in anything that's said. That's kind of what's happening at a political level as well. So I think maybe this kind of marketing is alienating those businesses from anything outside of the US. So great. You kind of, there's this kind of hype bubble in the US at the moment that you have to say, they've always been brash, right? But this kind of emphasized. Everyone outside is going to meet it with a lot of skepticism, and it burns the brand to some extent. So I think great for trying to build and grow the US side. I think it's going to hamper them if they want to go global with their push.
And I wonder as well about that kind of the interesting thing about using the historical bookkeeping data from already within that system. It's great, but we're seeing maybe that's sort of prompted some of those zero API, that AI clause is like, oh, hang on a second, where is this data can you connect up to this data to train other LLMs and other systems like Pilot? Or is it something that maybe some Zero are thinking about with the next iteration of JAX? Is it that they're kind of looking at what's obviously they've got a big US base now with Sukhinder Singh Cassidy based out there? Are they seeing what's going on in the US market and thinking, oh, hang on a second, we could actually do that, maybe to position their US offering more in a better way, but also actually what does that bring across the rest of that? Because as you say, Indy, it's that kind of US skepticism somewhat. If you've got other products that are already embedded across the world that we have trust and belief in, actually, if they start building these sorts of platforms, I'm not saying they're going to automate everything, but can we start to believe a bit more in that?
Look, you're talking to someone that's British Indian, so I've gone to India, and every Western brand has thought they can absolutely conquer India. And have they been able to do it alone? No, they have not. Every single time they've gone into a jurisdiction, India has absolutely booted them back out. So the point is, unless you have a way that embraces the country that you're going into, there will be resistance. And like you said, this is a good example. Will we only then trust these things if they come through the entities that we have already trusted a relationship with? And maybe that's more familiar, more predictable. We have something there, question mark. Could be the case, right? I think that could be the case. In this day and age, I think that might be the way to do it.
So I guess, you've got Intuit over in the US doing so much with AI, maybe not promising quite as much as what Pilot are promising here, but promising they're going to do a lot regarding automating processing, automating end of year or end of period close. So maybe Pilot have to be brash just to try and get some attention on them. But yeah, I could agree with you, Lara. I think Xero are going to do something similar over time. Obviously, we've got auto reconciliation. Sorry, Aaron, I'm going to call it reconciliation inside Xero, but we're going to start seeing this across all the other products as well.